Hi everyone, this is Nitin. Welcome to this special webinar training on how to survive the Medicare breakdown, the Medicare crackdown on your practice. We'll get started in 2 minutes. I received a few emails from attendees saying that they are running a little bit late. So let's just give it a couple minutes and then we'll get started with the webinar training. If you can hear me, what I suggest is just type out that you can hear me on the right side of the screen, and we will then go from there. So again, if you can hear me, please go ahead and just type out audio confirmed on the right side of the screen so I can make sure that you are indeed able to hear me. And that's pretty much the only thing I need a confirmation on. We'll get started in less than a minute. Actually, give me 3 to 4 minutes because we're waiting for a few attendees to actually, join in, because a couple of people emailed saying they're running behind. So again, if you can just confirm that you're able to hear me, if you can just type out audio confirmed, I would appreciate that, and then we'll go from there. So everybody, if you can hear me, just go ahead and please type in audio confirmed on the right side of your screen. Again, if you can hear me, please go ahead and type in audio confirmed on the right side of your screen. And what I'll do at my end is I will go ahead and then, get started with the training. So again, if you can do that, I'd appreciate it. Just type in audio confirmed on the right side of your screen, just so that I can make sure that you're able to hear me. I do this as an audio check at all times, simply because, I just want to make sure that everybody listening is indeed able to hear me without any issues. Because the last thing I want is to conduct a webinar training and then us having, audio issues. So again, if you can do that, I'd appreciate it. I will, I will go ahead and, get started with the training. So again, please go ahead and type in audio confirmed on the right side of your screen, and I will then go ahead and get started with the training. So I'm waiting for at least one individual to type in audio confirmed, and then I will go ahead and start with the training on how to survive the Medicare crackdown on your private practice. Okay. Okay, so hopefully you can see me in full screen mode. I am about to start the training on how to survive the Medicare crackdown on your private practice. Again, just want to make sure that everyone can indeed hear me. And if you can indeed hear me, please just go ahead and type in audio confirmed on the right side of your screen. And then we'll go ahead and get started from there. I'll also be making the handouts available to everybody on, excuse me, hold on. There you go. Robert, thank you so much. I realized that the chat box had actually not been enabled, which is my fault. I apologize. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Now, before we get started, let me make the download of the handouts available on the right side of the screen. So please go ahead and click on the right side of your screen. You'll see a yellow, click here to download training material now. So you'll see a yellow download now button available. So my recommendation would be to go ahead and click on that button. Now, in case you're not able to see that or you're not able to click on it, I'm also going to make I'm also going to send a chat message right now, which if you right click and choose save as, you're going to be able to see you're going to be able to download the handouts associated with this training. So with that being said, we're already a few minutes behind schedule. I appreciate your patience. Let's go ahead and get started. How to survive the Medicare crackdown on your practice. Now, I've been teaching private practice owners how to market their practice, how to grow their clinic for a long time now. It's been about 7 or 8 years now. Actually, I take that back. It's been about 9 years now. And I like to say this, but it bears repeating. We're extremely intelligent people. We know what needs to be done. We're extremely analytical. We're very astute. In fact, a lot of us are outstanding business owners. But there is one fundamental thing that holds us back as private practice owners from achieving the kind of success that others can only dream of. And I like to call that the money ceiling. All of us have some sort of a mental attitude about money. And I think it's very important to address that right at the start of this training, because it's more of a conceptual principle than it is an actual strategy. And we will get into strategies, I promise you. But each one of us has a certain ceiling, a certain mental threshold of how much money we deserve to earn. Sometimes when you make more money than you feel you are worthy of, you actually inadvertently decrease your efforts. You tend to say, okay, I made enough. And at this point, you know what? I probably don't need any more, or, dare I say, I don't deserve anymore. So I can speak from my own personal experience. I mean, I'm a poor immigrant from India. I moved to the United States in 2002, and my paycheck was about $700 every couple of weeks, and that to me at that time was all the money in the world. And for me, I couldn't imagine running a business that made the kind of money that most businesses that survive after 5 years. Most businesses that survive after 5 years tend to gross. I can't talk about net, but tend to gross at least in the hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of dollars a year. So the point is, we all start with the money ceiling that has been essentially forced on us. In other words, you make $60, $70 a visit. Guess what? Are you worth more than $60 to $70 a visit? Heck yeah, you are. In fact, as you know, progressively reimbursements are going down. So if anything, our environment around us is saying you're worth less and less money. So the only way to actually survive the Medicare crackdown on your practice, the only way to achieve income diversification in the new economy, is to change your attitude towards money. I mean, how many of you know of someone who, when they start making more money, they actually let's talk about someone who works on commissions, or someone who has a variable income. When individuals make more money, they actually inadvertently start to get uncomfortable, and they start to do things that actually make them squander money. I mean, you've heard about lottery winners who they win a lot of money and then they don't know what to do with it, and suddenly next thing you know, they're broke. They're right back to where they started 2, 3, 4 years from that day. On the other hand, the individuals who literally have no money, and they start with nothing, and then they get to a point where they're worth millions, sometimes worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And Mark Zuckerberg is an example, Steve Jobs is another example. These were not individuals who were born with money. So our fundamental attitude towards money, and our ability to attract money, is actually going to be directly proportional to the amount of money we earn. Now, this is a concept that's far broader than, hey, we need to survive the Medicare reimbursement crackdowns. Now, think about it. If you want to position yourself as a practice that survives Medicare, which is the topic of this webinar, you know that you need to be able to diversify your services. You may diversify your services, but you may not make any additional money simply because you're not you're not offering the kind of services that make people want to give you money. In other words, we're talking about people, paying you money for cash paying services. Because the only way to really break free from the Medicare threshold is to set up cash paying services, which I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. But again, and I know you're probably thinking, well, Nitin, where are the strategies? Well, I'll give you the strategies, but at the end of the day, if your mental programming, if your mental, sort of framing is all about, okay, I treat for an hour, I document, I bend over backwards to do what I can for the patient, and then another third party, whether it's Medicare or a payer, workers' comp, whatever it might be, another third party now decides how much I'm worth for that hour. You see, that mindset is a wrong attitude about money. Money flows fundamentally when you create substantial value, and then it actually it actually flows disproportionately sometimes to the value that you create. In other words, there are individuals who don't create substantial value, but simply by virtue of certain attributes like fame, for example, becoming famous, they tend to attract disproportionate amounts of money. Now, how many of you, we've heard about, individuals like the Kardashians? These people, they get paid $100,000, sometimes more, just to show up at a party. Now, we have troops who risk their lives for our country, who go to war, who come back without an arm, without a leg, who actually sometimes, they don't come back. How many of us would tend to agree that those individuals are worth more than these sort of made up celebrities, or than reality TV stars? So the point I'm trying to make is, money moves towards individuals who create substantial value. That's evident. For example, I'm trying to create substantial value for you now, which is why you've invested in this training, in our books, in our programs, in our DVDs, in our ongoing coaching programs. And we have to create ongoing substantial value for you. But more importantly, money flows when you are famous, when you have some degree of fame or recognition in your community. So really, the way to break free from the Obamacare economy does, to some extent, come down to fame. And that fame will result in a disproportionate amount of money flowing your way. And you'll start to understand this when you sort of notice that patients, if a patient knows you or has heard about you in the news, in the media, in newspapers, they automatically tend to become more receptive to your services. They automatically tend to become more likely to say, you know what, yeah, I want to do, I want to come here for physical therapy, for rehab services. So again, your attitude towards money is crucial, and you being able to rewire your attitude towards money is the fundamental guiding principle to your ability to survive the Obamacare economy. Now, when you try and increase revenue, there's really three ways to increase revenue. Number one, we diversify our revenue so we're not just dependent on our core service, which is physical therapy. Number two, we simply do more physical therapy, see more patients. Does that make sense? Number three, and this is an interesting one, you make more money from your existing patients. So let me repeat that. Number one, you diversify your services so you have more service offerings. In other words, you don't just offer physical therapy, you offer physical therapy, massage, fitness, perhaps weight loss programs, personal training programs, group fitness training programs. You provide nutritional supplements. You provide acupressure services, dry needling services, whatever the case might be. That's number one. Number two, you simply see more patients. You do more visits. You try and get more and more referrals. You try and go from 60 visits a week to 70 visits a week. You go from 70 visits a week to 74 visits a week until you can't see any more patients. Number three, now this is a big one. You don't necessarily have to see more patients, but you can substantially increase your revenue from existing patients. Now again, this is an important fact, because being able to increase your revenue from existing patients, okay, is all about the elimination of payer dependence. In other words, if your top three payers, for example, are Aetna, Medicare, and Blue Cross Blue Shield. Now think about this. If you were to, if for some reason Medicare reduced their reimbursements again, you're going to see your income decline substantially. If Aetna decides to reduce their reimbursements, you would again see your payment decline substantially. So what's going to happen is your income is going to be directly dependent. Okay. Again, your income is going to be directly dependent on these payers. Now, you don't want that to happen. What you ideally want is you want a state where you're independent of your payers. So basically, you want a situation where even if your payers were to cut their payments or to reduce their reimbursements, you're still able to maintain your income. Now, how do you do that? First of all, in order to be able to maintain or increase your income, you need to have diversification in your services. So how do you diversify your services? You diversify your services by offering additional options for your patients to interact with you, for your patients to get service from you, for your patients to actually, sort of do business with you. And this can be beyond the scope of physical therapy. Now, obviously, I'm not saying you start offering financial services. Obviously, it's got to be the same, within the same realm of what you offer, so that it's a logical extension of what you're already known for. Now, if this involves you hiring additional staff, or even temporarily getting space from someone so that you can do this, that's fine. But the key again is that you're able to essentially you're able to offer additional services to clients. So again, you've got to be able to offer additional services to clients. And as far as being able to do that is concerned, you need to ask yourself, okay, what is it that I'm going to be able to do, or what is it that I can offer that's going to be of substantial value to clients? So what is it that you can offer that can be of substantial value to clients? And that's something that you need to be able to do consistently. And as long as you're able to offer substantial value to clients, as long as you're able to identify things that you can do for patients that help them go to the next level, you should be in a position to offer those services. So now, how do you eliminate payer dependence? You eliminate payer dependence by identifying what you're good at. You eliminate payer dependence by identifying what patients want. And you eliminate payer dependence by simply doing the things that your patients expect you to do, something that's a logical extension of what patients expect you to do. So again, now if you are a physical therapist, and if you're offering, obviously traditional physical therapy services, the question you need to ask yourself is, what is it that you can offer that's going to be of benefit to patients? And this in turn will allow you to eliminate payer dependence. So what I want you to do is think about this for a second, because the idea is to offer additional services to patients. Again, you want to offer additional services to patients so that you can be in a position to, so that you can be in a position to reduce your dependence on payers. So, how do you go about setting up cash paying programs? First of all, you've got to come up with at least three different ideas. The three different ideas have to be an intersection of essentially a combination of what you're good at, what you're interested in, what you're qualified in, obviously, and most importantly, what your patients want. What is it that your patients want to get from you? What is it that your patients want to be able to, you know, to, what can you offer them to move them further, to make them more independent, to make them healthier, to make them more pain free? So three ideas that immediately come to mind. One is massage programs. You can actually offer an ongoing massage program where patients are charged a $50 or a $60 monthly fee, and they get maybe a 30-minute or a 45-minute massage. It is the Massage Envy business model, which is a massage franchise all over the country. For more information, go ahead and check out Massage Envy's website. The second program is a group fitness training program. You've got to be able to offer your patients the ability to be able to do group fitness classes, whether it's weight loss classes, whether it's, prenatal, postnatal classes, whether it's injury prevention, whether it's fall prevention, postural improvement classes. Individuals that get together in groups of 10 to 12 people at a time. So if you can get patients together in groups of 10 to 12 at a time, you're now in a position where you can charge anywhere from $150 to $200 per person. And if you get 12 people, you're looking at close to $2,000 in revenue for a group program that you're conducting 3 times a week. So you're looking at an investment in terms of time of about 12 hours a week. So, this can be scaled up. Obviously, you don't have to restrict a group to 10 people. You can have a group with 20 people. But again, there is a lot of leverage in group programs and the kind of scale that you can get if you're able to conduct a group program. So again, if you're able to conduct a group program, you're in a much, much better position to be able to, scale up your income. So again, if you're able to scale up your income, the best way to scale up your income is if you have a group program. And with the group program, you're going to be, like I said, in an excellent position to be able to, reduce your dependence on the, you're able to reduce your dependence on payers. So again, when you want to reduce your dependence on payers, you've got to start cash paying programs. I've talked about two ideas. I'm now going to present you with the third. And the third one's interesting. Think about personal training or weight loss training, one-on-one training. Individuals that are overweight are looking for help. And if, as a physical therapist, you're in a position to provide, that kind of weight loss advice by going through perhaps some additional certifications in personal training and weight loss, it is a logical extension. But as long as you believe in fitness yourself, and obviously nobody wants to be able to learn exercise from someone who needs to look after themselves physically. So again, if you can do this yourself as a physical therapist, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you can hire a trainer, there's nothing wrong with hiring a trainer and then having that person on your own liability insurance policy, working in your premises, offering personal training, weight loss programs. It's an excellent way to be able to, leverage your income. So again, three ways. You have massage, that's number one. Number two, you have group fitness training programs. And number three, you have cash paying programs. So with these three ideas or with these three techniques, you're going to be in a good position. You're going to be in a very good position to be able to, leverage your income and, start more cash paying programs, because that's really what you need to do to be able to survive the Medicare crackdown on your practice. Look, the trend is obvious, and that's one of the reasons why everyone's here on this training today. The trend is that Medicare is paying less and less. And when Medicare pays less and less, the other payers start to pay less and less as well. So even if you were to see more patients, you're essentially running around in circles, because seeing more patients does not always translate into more revenue. Increasing revenue per patient by eliminating your dependence on payers and offering more cash paying programs, that is what results in an increase in revenue. So I'm hoping that you can focus more on that. Now, offering more cash paying programs is one thing, but something that we all need to improve on as private practice owners, as clinicians, is time management. If you want to increase your income, you've got to get into the whole sort of flow, the whole mindset where you're able to be efficient with your time. In other words, you're almost ruthless with your time. So you start at 3 o'clock. Let's say you start a patient at 3. Your goal is to finish the patient's treatment and the documentation by no later than 3:45, so you can start working with the next patient. Now, this is all, time management it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of practice. It's almost, I like to think of it as working out. If you're working out consistently, you're able to sort of take full advantage of your time in the gym. You go in, you spend 30-40 minutes, you take a quick shower, you're out. Time management is very similar. And this is a skill that we all need to work on, because there are only 8 hours in a day, right? So no, none of us get more hours in a day, not billionaires, and not any other human being. So being able to get as much done as possible involves being very, very, very proactive about the way you manage your time. You've got to be able to say, okay, this is what I'm doing in terms of treating the patient, documenting the patient, and now time's up. So if I haven't done it in this much time, I need to strive to do better the next time. Because the only way that you can truly sort of grow as a private practice owner is if you start to focus less and less time on the things that are fairly streamlined, fairly repetitive, and to be honest, things that can be done by someone else. I call these the low dollar value to high dollar value activities. A low dollar value activity, for example, is something like answering emails, sending faxes, ordering supplies, calling somebody, even calling physicians over the phone, doing things that can be done by someone else. High dollar value activities are slightly, higher in value. The actual act of treating, motivating staff members, spending one-on-one time with physicians, those are all high dollar value activities. Now then, on the other hand, there are high lifetime value activities. A high lifetime value activity is something that takes your practice, your business, it takes you personally, professionally to a new level. The high lifetime value activities include attending workshops, attending seminars, planning for your retirement, planning for your future by way of maybe spending time with your accountant, creating employee incentive programs, conducting meetings, conducting seminars, workshops, and you presenting to your staff members so that your staff members are motivated by you, writing out the vision of your company, establishing an exit plan for your business, making decisions such as the ones I'm asking you to make in this training, by the way, making decisions like, okay, we're going to eliminate payer dependence by the end of this year. We're going to have at least 3 cash paying programs. in the next 3 months? Which cash paying programs are these going to be? So you see all the activities that are high lifetime value activities in time management, all of them, every single one of them in the high lifetime value bucket, none of them are urgent. They're important, but they're not urgent. So what's interesting is that we tend to spend a lot of our time as private practice owners on the low dollar value and the and the high dollar value activities. We need to do more and more high lifetime value activity things. And when we do more high lifetime value activity things, that is when true change starts to happen. That is when things start to happen that really take your practice to the next level. And that's really what I want for you. I want you to get to a point where you're spending more and more time on the high lifetime value activity stuff. So hopefully all of these concepts help you understand the difference between low dollar value, high dollar value, and high lifetime value activities. So I hope that makes sense. The next point before we go any further is staff efficiency. So again, the next point is staff efficiency. I think I may have lost the screen, so let me just pull it up again. Give me just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the staff efficiency slide one more time. Just give me a moment. There we go. I think I have it back now. Staff efficiency is one of the more crucial aspects of trying to take your practice to the next level. Now, as far as staff efficiency goes, there's something that I've noticed with most private practice owners, and that is that we tend to make certain staff members do certain things and then leave other things to others. In other words, everyone is a specialist at something. Now, there's two schools of thoughts on this, but I firmly believe that that the best way for a practice to truly scale is for a practice to be able to have staff members that can fulfill multiple different roles at the same time. In other words, if necessary, your front desk person should be able to help with a little bit of billing, not be a professional biller, but help with a little bit of billing. Your billing person should be able to, step up and help you with scheduling if needed. Your therapists should be able to, if it gets, if there's some slack with the schedule, should be able to help you with marketing. The clinic owner, who's presumably a clinician, should be able to do a bit of everything. If someone calls in sick, or if someone quits, or if someone has to go on medical leave. So having an efficient staff that where your staff members can do different things and can essentially fulfill different roles is a very, very, very important part of surviving in the Obamacare economy. Because you see, just to back up, and I want to emphasize these points again, surviving the Medicare crackdown on your practice is all about income diversification. Income diversification happens when you see more patients, A, B, when you offer more services, and C, when you essentially increase revenue per patient. And you'll notice that B and C are very, very closely tied together. Income diversification in the new economy involves, like I said, is restructuring of our attitudes towards money. It involves you saying, I embrace and I welcome more money. It involves you eliminating payer dependence. The only way you can do that is you start offering more cash paying services. Now, incidentally, I hope that everyone listening knows who their top 10, not top 3, not top 5, but top 10. I hope you know who your top 10 payers are. And I hope you know what your dependence is on those payers. In other words, for those payers, what is, who's the top payer and what percentage of claims come from that payer? Who's the second, payer? Who's the third payer, and so on and so forth. So I hope you're aware of all this, because these things are extremely important from a productivity standpoint. You've got to be able to say, gosh, 60% of my claims are Aetna. You've got to do something about that. So hopefully you're starting to think in terms of eliminating payer dependence. We talked about cash paying programs, and I gave you 3 different suggestions for cash paying programs. The best thing you can do as far as cash paying programs are concerned is, what you want to do is you want to be able to conduct cash paying programs that your patients consider as a logical extension of your services. Again, your patients have to consider these cash paying programs as logical extensions of your services. What does that mean? Okay. That basically means that when your patients come to you for those services, they essentially are looking at the services and going, you know what, this is something I can definitely do. Again, your patients have to look at all the services and say, this is something I can definitely do and I want to be able to do. So with that being said, try and set up, if not one, if not 3, preferably one cash paying program. I recommended massage, I recommended group fitness classes, as well as some variation of personal training or weight loss classes, because that's a logical extension of what patients expect from you. Time management, the best laid plans can go to waste if they are not managed in a time sensitive manner. Think about it this way. We set goals for patients, right? We set short term goals and long term goals. That's fundamentally time management of the actual clinical pathway. That's time management of the actual treatment process. Why not do it for your business? Why not do it for the things that affect your peace of mind, your satisfaction, your personal life, your professional life, your relationship with your family, the time you spend with your family, the money in your bank account, the long-term satisfaction you get, and the chances of you retiring happily. I mean, who among us doesn't want to plan for a safe and stable retirement? If you manage your time effectively and you say, you know what, I'm going to be at work at 9. I'm going to see patients from 9 to 1. From 1 to 3, I'm going to focus on the high lifetime value stuff, whether that's listening to recordings of these trainings or reading a book or, being on the phone with my accountant, my business coach, whoever, whatever. The time management. I mean, I do coaching calls with my mastermind clients, with my elite clients, a lot of whom are on this training. And the time that we spend together, that's an example of a high lifetime value effort. And finally, staff efficiency. You can only do so much as as your staff. So hopefully you understand the importance of really you sort of dialing things in with your staff, because when your staff is completely dialed in, when your staff is on board with you, when your staff shares the same vision as you, that's when things start to improve substantially in your practice, because there's only so much you can do as an individual. But when you start focusing on the high lifetime value things, then the truth is some of the high dollar value things as well as the low dollar value things. There's nothing wrong. There's no embarrassment in doing low dollar value stuff. It's really a function of what your qualifications are, what your aptitude is, what your interest is, what you're good at. I'm not saying low dollar value stuff is bad or beneath you. I'm simply saying that as a business owner, I mean, you took upon you the responsibility of opening a private practice or running a private practice. Therefore, by extension, maintaining efficiency in your staff is either your responsibility or the responsibility of your office manager. Guess what? Your office manager is your employee if you're a business owner. Therefore, by extension, you're responsible for the office manager's efficiency, which means by extension, you're responsible for the efficiency of all your staff members if you look at the hierarchy of your organization. So hopefully this makes sense and hopefully this helped. I appreciate everyone joining us for this training. If anyone has any questions, please go ahead and please go ahead and type in your questions on the chat box on the right side of the screen, and I'll be happy to assist with any questions that you might have as we attempt to prepare our practices for surviving and getting through the Obamacare economy. I appreciate everyone being here. So again, please go ahead and type in your question on the right side of the screen, or go ahead and ask me any question that you may have, and I'll be happy to assist. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here on this training. I'm happy to answer any questions you have pertaining to this, and I'll be standing by to see if you have any further questions. I'll give it a couple of minutes and see if you have any questions. Again, if anyone has any questions, please go ahead and type in your questions in the chat box on the right side of the screen. I hope everyone has the pop in, in other words, the download links to the training. So on the right side of your screen, you can click on download now, the big yellow download now button, and you'll be able to download all the training associated with this webinar. Again, if you have any questions, please go ahead and type them out on the right side of your screen. If not, we'll be wrapping up in a couple of minutes. So it looks like there are no further questions. I appreciate everyone taking the time to be here. Thank you so much, everybody. We have completed this training. If you have any questions, please send us an email through the customer support portal. You can also reply to any of the emails you're getting from us. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next training. Thank you. Bye-bye.